There's only 13 breakups, which is not that bad. Anyways.
No, Ed. 15.
Okay, you're right. Pardon me. See, I lost count.
Yeah.
Ed always asking me for FaceTime. He want to video call with him to FaceTime.
So Ed said that he hasn't spoken to you at all, and then now he's saying he can't remember if he spoke to you.
I didn't.
That's not true. Because he messaged me and I have a screenshot.
Okay, well, we have that screenshot.
This is what I wanted to read.
Oh, gosh.
Can you read that for us, please?
Purchase your tracks today.
I hope all is well. You look amazing. She says thanks. He says, I want to come to the Philippines again to see you if you're open.
Wow.
You just said that you were in communication with her.
Liz, sit down. Jesus
Did
Christ.
he not just say that he
did.
hasn't spoken to her? Did you? Say yes or no. Did you or did you not just say, I have not spoken to her?
Me no speak English.
What the?
You know what? It's not something to joke about, Ed.
It is, because this is her. This is who Liz is.
She's reading the proof is in the pudding. She's reading the stupid text.
Tell me about that text.
Just
Tell me what
said,
about that text.
I've not spoken to her.
See?
You just lied
Hey,
to
Liz.
everybody right here.
Tracks today.
A 59-year-old man laughing at the countless times he's broken up and made up with his fiancée. In episode 14 of Happily Ever After Season 8, we find Ed and Liz in yet another dramatic standoff. Liz, tired of the back and forth, has packed her bags, ready to leave Ed's place for good. But before we dive into the chaos, let's take a moment for Ed's dogs, the true victims of this never-ending drama. You know they sense the tension. Animals are experts at picking up on human conflict. As Liz wipes away her tears, exhausted from the emotional roller coaster, Ed's in the other room, completely unfazed, doting on his dogs and ignoring Liz altogether. It's a stark reminder of where his priorities lie. Liz may not see it yet, but this could be the best thing that ever happened to her. After all, who really wants to be tied down to someone who's proven time and again that he's more interested in being right than being loving? It's a mess, but it's the kind of mess that's hard to look away from. So let's break down the latest episode, where the drama is just as high as ever, and maybe, just maybe, Liz is finally seeing the light. Picture this. Socks, at 59 years old, laughing about how many times he's cycled through breaking up and making up with his fiancée. When we catch Ed and Liz in episode 14 of Happily Ever After. Season 8, Liz has just packed her bags and is ready to roll out from Ed's place.
As much time as you need. It's okay. Let it out. Let it out.
Let's pause and send up a quick prayer for Ed's dogs, because those poor pups are the real casualties here. You know they're feeling the tension, because animals pick up on human drama like nobody's business.
Why are you guys sad? What's the matter?
Think you're ready now?
So over in the next room, Liz is over there trying to catch her breath after shedding those genuine tears for the Musinettes. Meanwhile, Ed, he's totally unbothered, fussing over his dogs while totally ignoring Liz. Priority check, y'all.
I am definitely trying to keep my composure with Ed right now. I don't know if I'm ever gonna see him again. So I know I have to say goodbye to him, but I just want to get my stuff out and leave.
Clearly, Liz doesn't see it yet, but Ed cutting her loose might be the best thing that's ever happened to her. Can you imagine locking yourself down with a petty gaslighter like him for life? No, ma'am, it's a hot mess. Liz has been down this road with Ed more times than she can count. Before this whole situation, she was already coming out of 2 failed marriages. Yeah, I'm calling it an entanglement, because that's exactly what it feels like. This ain't no real relationship, especially since Ed's been pushing Liz away lately, chasing after every other option he thinks he's got.
I understand why Liz is pissed off at me. Okay, I canceled the wedding. But for her to come in with her mom and just fly off the handle, this is the main reason why I ended our relationship. We spend most of our time fighting.
Small Ed never owns up to his mistakes, so he's not about to admit he's the main source of the drama between them. He does make a point, though. Their whole setup is no good for either of them.
That's not a relationship. It's not It's not healthy.
That's not a relationship. It's a disaster. But here's the kicker. Ed's all too aware their connection was doomed from the start. Would have been nice if he'd clued Liz in on that ages ago, before she made all these sacrifices for this dead-end relationship. Then, Liz pops up, trying to hand back Ed's garage clicker. He says thanks and asks when she wants to plan the move-out day, and Liz has to remind him that the movers are already scheduled for tomorrow, which she told him ahead of time.
I'm sorry I blew up at your mom, but she was coming at me.
Doesn't matter, Ed. You need to learn how to talk to women, period. Doesn't matter who comes at you.
Well,
Just know.
that's hearsay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
Thank you for your apology. There's no excuse.
Thank you.
Own it. You
It is
should have
what
done
it is.
it. You don't talk to women that way, period.
Go on, Liz, putting this little weirdo in his place. And did he really just hit us with that Amber Heard lawyer nonsense? Ha ha ha. Really now, Liz? This cornball always needs the last word and keeps talking over her.
Okay, your mom wasn't being a woman. She was being a...
Just
How
stop.
did I embed?
Stop.
Liz,
See,
you're being
this is what we're not.
ridiculous.
Just you owned up to it.
Okay,
Take an
fine.
apology,
Got
but
it.
don't make excuses.
Got it. Fine. I have a request from you.
Yeah, you don't get no requests, Ed.
Oh, Ed is really out here being petty, talking about how Liz's mom isn't a real woman just because she called him out for not stepping up as a man. We've got the receipts, y'all. Ed got caught in 4K, escalating that argument last episode to a level it never needed to reach.
I want you to learn from this
You
experience.
learned from it, Ed.
I want you to
You
learn.
learned from it.
I want you to
I've already
learn.
learned.
Have you? I'm worried about your next relationship. I want you to be happy.
My next
And
relationship.
if you don't change, you're never going to be happy.
Let's give a round of applause for the so-called Christian Big Ed, folks. His ego is so fragile, it's almost laughable. And now he's already talking about Liz possibly being with another man? That tells us everything we need to know. He never truly loved her. You used her just to climb onto this TLC platform and milk all the fame and spin-offs you could get. It's crystal clear. There's no way someone who genuinely cared about their partner would be discussing them with someone else right after a breakup.
If you don't
Says
change,
the one who can't talk to a woman.
so I'm giving you advice.
You know, I'm gonna be fine.
I hope so. I do. I'm worried about you. I'm worried that
This is a
you're
narcissist.
never gonna,
Stop projecting.
But you're never going
Ed.
to find happiness
Who?
unless...
Ed, we are straight up laughing at you right now. This dude is peak manipulative. Liz is totally on point here. I wish this little weirdo would actually take his own advice, considering he's been treating women badly for years. Now that Ed's made it crystal clear he's on the hunt for Christian women his age, let's serve him a little Christian sass. Matthew 7 says, "For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you."
Who
You
said we're
learned-
talking about a relationship right now?
But you didn't learn from this experience.
You didn't learn from this
I
experience.
did too, Liz. I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not
I
talking
did.
about a relationship, and I'm trying to say goodbye to you, and you're trying to bring up the next guy that comes into my life? Are you kidding me?
Liz tells the audience that because of Ed, she's struggling to trust love again moving forward. It might have felt good for a hot minute, but after all her past relationship failures, she's starting to think nothing will ever work out. What Liz says, Max, is so real. She's like, why do I have to learn a lesson when I wasn't even looking for anything else? She was all in, giving him her undivided attention. Meanwhile, Ed had a wandering eye, always ready to argue or flirt with other women in the DMs and hit up his exes. You can see how badly Ed hurt Liz.
I definitely feel like I deserve to be loved without the constant fear of being left behind.
Even in those after-season testimonials where the cameras catch her breaking down and crying, it's clear she's still feeling the pain. Liz says, "My heart is trying to say goodbye, and he isn't even there." Then we catch Ed full-on creeping, peeking out the window at Liz, probably thinking, I can't wait for her to leave so I can get back to flirting with all these Asian baddies on dating sites. He then tells the audience, I love Liz. I'll always love her. She changed my life in many good ways. Yeah, buddy, check that bank account. A good chunk of that balance is thanks to Liz. You're welcome. And hold up, y'all. Check out this comment Liz dropped on Instagram right after the breakup. She said, "He bought me a car I refused to drive because it had GPS, and he would ground me from it if I made him mad. If I missed my curfew by 5 minutes, I had to drive my old paid-off 2010 car, which he always trashed. It was all about control. If Cameo were to die tomorrow, he'd be broke. That's the only way he managed to stay afloat." Liz says, "My love language is not a gift. All of that was lies. And if I didn't accept a gift, he'd just give it to his daughter." Damn, Tiffany, are you really cool with getting Liz's hand-me-downs? In that interview we covered last time, Ed told Rachel his daughter didn't even know his real age. Maybe she'd be in the loop if you didn't treat her like a second option, Ed. In the latest episode, Ed's out here claiming he tried to change Liz's life for the better, but she wasn't wasn't having it, whatever that means, right? Then he goes on about how Liz is a good person and it's better to start fresh than stay in a messed up relationship. Cut to a dramatic shot of Liz and her mom driving away while Ed watches from the window. That's a wrap for the first episode. Fast forward to now, and the story has a happy ending. Yesterday, Liz posted a bunch of cute photos with her new man, Jason. And let me tell you, some of these are real cutie pie, sweetie pie moments. My fave is the one of them at Dave & Buster's, games and drinks. Yes, please. Unlike Ed, Liz isn't out here posting cringeworthy drunk videos with randoms. Liz and Jason are in a real relationship and don't overshare, which makes me think they're actually happy and thriving. She looks so much better with him. It's like night and day compared to how she looked with Ed.
Liz, go. Just go. Go. Go back to your trashy friends in San Diego and be a bartender for the rest of your life.
Okay. He's got a small There we go.
Oh,
Are you a lesbian?
I have no physical attraction to any females, period. I am not attracted to anything but the fact that you don't even come to bed anymore. You don't give about me. You stay up to 5 a.m. You don't come to bed. You don't cuddle with me. You don't do anything. And you're so insecure over someone being attracted to me.
In recent news from the 90 Day Fiancé world, it appears that Liz Woods has not only moved on to a new partner, but has also made some striking revelations about her ex, Big Ed. All right, the moment has arrived to uncover the drama unfolding between Big Ed and Liz on the 90 Day Fiancé tell-all. We all know these episodes are chaotic, but this one takes it to a whole new level. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button. Everyone from this season is sharing the same house, and we're about to see what happens when Liz shows up solo.
How are you? She's by herself.
So happy to see her coming by
I
herself.
know. She looks so happy.
I find it hilarious how everyone immediately reacts with relief. Like, oh my god, thank goodness she's here alone without that meatball. It's clear that nobody in this universe apart from them wants them together. Everyone else can see just how toxic and annoying Big Ed is.
Hi, you look so good.
I know. I got rid of like 230 pounds.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Plus, I think Liz is still doing Ed some favors. There's no way, man, 230. I mean, I know he's super short, but seriously, he's round. She definitely put his driver's license weight on there. You know, the one you totally fib about at the DMV because you're too embarrassed to admit your real weight. Not that I would know from personal experience or anything.
Like, amazing. You really needed this. I do believe he's a bad person. And he's ugly in and out.
Liz has barely been here 2 minutes, and everyone else is like, yeah, Ed's the absolute worst ugly inside and out, and we can't stand him. And Liz is just nodding along saying, yeah, I've heard that a lot. Trust me, we're broken up, so you don't need to keep reminding me. It's like the universe is determined to constantly remind her what a mistake it was to even consider dating this guy.
Like 6 months since I've seen him. I feel like I've been good like all day and like coming in.
We all know Liz is going to cave in immediately because he has this strange hold on her. He can completely break her down in an instant with just one of his ridiculous looks.
I'm very happy. Yeah. No more though. Final breakup.
You sure?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, are you sure? You guys break up like 30 times a season. You're just like those annoying high school couples that can't seem to call it quits, even though you obviously can't stand each other. But I don't know. Something feels different this time. Maybe I'm just being overly hopeful, but I really believe this is their final breakup.
What the hell is going on in here?
Ed walks in wearing this ridiculous all-black outfit, looking like a burnt human meatball. Instantly, the energy in the room just vanishes. No one wants to be around this guy, and honestly, who could blame them?
Una amiga.
My bro?
Yeah.
They immediately burst into tears and Ed jumps straight into his manipulative antics. It's almost amusing how Liz attempts to stand her ground, telling him not to pull that crap, yet she's completely okay with him continuing his emotional games. She's bound to keep getting ensnared in his web of deceit, clueless as to why she's stuck in this mess. It's crazy how quickly he flips the switch to manipulation mode. They've been at this for almost 5 years now. At least it feels that way, though it might not actually be that long. Still, this guy has been given countless chances. Way way more than any of us would get from our partners if we were this shady. Yet he keeps saying, "I'll change, I promise. This time will be different." It's all so manipulative, honestly. Thankfully, another couple shows up and diverts the spotlight from these two, who presumably spend the rest of the night in tears, wrapped up in some awkward conversation. I can't fathom why Liz is still wasting her time on this fool. If you want to talk things out, do it on the stage. Speaking of which, the next day Angela arrives, revealing that she wasn't around because she had a massive fight with Michael. And guess who's there to comfort her? None other than Big Ed, the least likely shoulder to cry on in this show.
I swear that's my heart. I wish I never brought him here. He's making a fool out of me.
Big Ed is giving off major Violet Beauregard vibes from the original Willy Wonka movie, practically a human blueberry. Yet here he is, comforting Angela as if they're bonded by being outcasts. Everyone else can't stand them because of their irritating antics, but they seem to share a bizarre, deep connection. Why? Probably because they're both absolute disasters. Love you, baby. Hang in there.
I love you, baby.
Sorry to
You hang in there, baby.
I don't have no one to talk to.
Okay.
Ed says, as Angela laments not having anyone else to talk to. It's gross to see them bonding, but also hilarious to notice that no one else is with her. Everyone else is in the other room, chatting with Michael and eager to hear his side, because they know Angela and Ed are nothing but trouble. These two might be the most toxic duo ever to appear on this show.
Ed and Liz, welcome back.
No, we did not sleep in the same room.
Liz quickly makes it clear that there was no heartfelt reconciliation between her and Ed.
We had our icebreaker last night. A lot more emotional than what I had expected it.
It's been 6 months since their wedding was called off, and she's been living in California, far away from him, completely detached. Yet they still had that emotional reunion the night before. It's baffling. You'd think she'd be over this guy, especially with rumors about her having a new boyfriend who was apparently not as round or irritating as Big Ed.
I mean, I was a puddle of tears. Not seeing you or speaking to you for 6 months, I was a mess.
Like hug him.
Okay, all right, good. I don't either.
Yeah.
She gave me a hug.
Just like every tell-all episode, and trust me, there have been plenty I always cross my fingers that someone will finally lay into Ed. I want Liz to feel backed up and defended, while Ed gets left feeling foolish. But usually I end up let down. There are always a few digs here and there, like when Andre calls him short or when old Jenny starts yelling at him, but it's never enough. I always crave more. So naturally, I got pretty bummed out when Liz was all nice to Ed on the first night.
You look great. I do miss you.
He doesn't deserve it at all. It felt like we were back to square one, and I started getting the vibe they might actually get back together. She even slips up and calls Ed baby by accident. It seems that even after all this time, Liz hasn't developed a strong dislike for Ed.
Back at church, I help usher on every Sunday. Having a relationship for me right now is probably the furthest thing from my mind.
I want to add some context to what Ed is saying. He's now portraying himself as a devout churchgoer, often mentioning in interviews his desire for a good Christian woman. Ed claims that during the 6-month period he was single after breaking up with Liz, he focused on self-improvement and wasn't interested in a relationship. However, a woman who reached out to me revealed some texts that suggest otherwise. She shared messages that clearly show Ed hasn't changed. He's still the same slimy, unpleasant person we've known all along. In fact, he even offered to fly her out for the tell-all episode, during the time he was supposedly working on himself. This whole narrative of being a reformed, church-going man is just a facade. He's not upset because he's making progress. He's upset because he couldn't find someone to accompany him to the tell-all. Ed's attempts at dating are just flopping. It's not that he's not trying, it's that nobody wants to be with him. They dive into the infamous taco pasta wedding cancellation, showing the cast everything how Ed canceled the wedding without even telling Liz. Now, the entire cast knows, everyone knows, and Ed can't play the victim card to weasel out of this mess. But oh, does he try. He comes unhinged, especially when Liz shares how she lost it in front of his family for the first time, with his sister witnessing the whole thing. It was mortifying for him. There's no excuse for canceling a wedding without informing Liz. Yet all he does is blame her, projecting everything onto her. I can't change who you are. You did this, you have a temper, and so on. Just when the conversation starts heating up, Sean cuts in. This is what I'm talking about. Why interrupt when it's getting juicy? Sean jumps in to ask about the scene where Ed went to the bar. If you recall, he was supposed to meet Liz in person after canceling the wedding, but she didn't show up, saying it wasn't a healthy environment for that discussion. I was a bit curious about what she meant by that, but seriously, Sean, let the cast rip into Ed without breaking the momentum. Not even the allure of a free flight and a chance to be on TV could save Ed. The footage they show just keeps making him look worse. especially the scenes of him arguing with Liz's mom. Then they even bring out Liz's mom, which felt unnecessary at this point. She really doesn't need to say anything to Ed anymore. Although I did appreciate one thing she mentioned, but I'm absolutely loving the fact that Liz is finally standing up for herself. She's got support, and no one except Ed is blaming her for any of this. She's not just sitting there taking his nonsense and crying. She's pushing back and holding her ground. I was genuinely thrilled for her when they introduced her new boyfriend. Sure, we don't know much about him or their relationship, but one thing's for sure, he's not Ed, and that alone is a big plus in his favor. So it turns out Liz is now dating someone new after Ed. This wasn't a huge surprise for the audience, given the context. But hey, at least Liz got to flaunt her new boyfriend in front of Ed, and I'm genuinely glad she's moved on. Hopefully she stays miles away from Ed for good. We wrapped up the segment with Liz and her new guy, announcing they're planning to move in together, which left Ed looking a bit sheepish. Kudos to Liz for that. Ed tried to bring a date to the tell-all and likely invited several women, but Liz managed to steal the spotlight with her new beau. I'm pretty satisfied with how things turned out for Liz this time around, and I'm rooting for Ed to keep facing the heat throughout the tell-all. Next up, Jasmine and Gino. Honestly, I'm fed up with their repetitive drama and excessive details about their intimate life. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you think Jasmine has a flair for the dramatic, just wait until you hear what Angela has to say about Michael in the next video you won't want to miss.